force an arbitrator. It was, as you say, independent. A poor choice of words, perhaps, John, but it simply refers to the fact of seeking from the arbitrator a view on those things, on those matters that arose. I'd say with a very poor choice of words. Would you use that phrase again? Well, certainly not.
So the better people communicate, the better it is for business, not to mention Australia's balance of trade.
The line constantly being put forward by Telstra these days is that they might have been bad boys in the past, but now all that's changed. However, we've found there are still plenty of angry customers out there.
The message is that I still haven't got an answer on whether or not we can run a risk of being electrocuted by a 55-volt link on the phone line.
Colin Turner has been fighting Telstra for 8 years. You could say that Colin's a trifle obsessed.
Now, I'm a little bit concerned about that. And I don't want to be sitting in my office looking like an idiot with a tea towel wrapped around my phone because of this voltage leak.
Today, Colin's had a win. He's managed to videotape a Telstra technician discovering a fault in his lines.
Oh, that's gone right up, hasn't it?
Yes.
What's that on there?
It says 50-55.
Jesus.
See how it's moving?
Yeah.
See how it's moving?
Now, to the Telstra executive who says that all of these problems are in the past, that they're history, what do you have to say?
He doesn't know what he's talking about. He has got no idea.
Are you exaggerating this because it's part of their defence that it's been blown right out of all proportion?
Well, I keep saying to Telstra, for God's sake, come down and witness them for yourself. Just this morning, I've had 2 ANV faults. That's answer, no voice. In the 2-hour period, there have been over 200 faults have come in and been logged.
Not surprisingly, there have been consistent calls for a Senate inquiry into Telstra's conduct. A Senate investigation would have far-reaching powers, but as a confident, it's headed progress towards avoidance of a Senate inquiry. It details how a special Telstra team lobbied Parliament. That document seems to be a scorecard to tell whether or not you're heading in their direction. Is that how you see it?
Yes, it is how I'd interpret it. Now, I'd expect Telstra to do that sort of thing, and I'd expect anybody who wanted a certain outcome, I guess, to do that sort of thing.
But Senator Bourne didn't expect to be lied to. Telstra executives assured her there were absolutely no difficulties with the network. The COT problems could not happen.
But much of what I was told was just completely untrue.
I think Telecom think they're bigger than Parliament, and if you're bigger than Parliament, they must think they're bigger than Australia.
This is the man Telstra's campaign was aimed at. They said of Senator Ron Boswell, he is very unlikely to be placated by rational argument.
I think it's very foolish, though, to write some of these things down, particularly when they're very unpleasant, and what they say about Senator Boswell in particular is quite unpleasant, and I think quite unfair.
The document says they are attempting to ensure that Senator Boswell is unable to muster the support he needs within other political parties to enable him to force a Senate inquiry.
No organisation in this country is bigger than the people and the Parliament that serves the people.
Well, certainly there have been briefings of senators, but I wouldn't quite put the connotations on it that you're putting on it there. Well, what connotations should be put on it? The briefings of the senators were very positive briefings to outline to them exactly where the processes were, where the arbitration was at, what Telstra's role was in the process, etc. The heading of this says progress toward avoidance of a Senate inquiry. At one stage there were a number of people in the Senate calling for a Senate inquiry, and I guess there were some questions around.
Meanwhile, Colin Turner has been busy with his camera again, and it looks like at last he's getting some action. Remarkably, 2 days after assuring him there was no problem, Telstra technicians turned out in force to fix that voltage leak he'd reported. He often wonders why dealing with Telstra has to be so difficult.
I saw a very, very simple solution. They should admit that from time to time there will be some service difficulties on the phones.
What is it going to take, though, to get Telecom to that point and solve the problem?
I believe it will take a full Senate inquiry.
It seems to to me that the only thing that brings them to heel a little is the threat of an inquiry, and I think that's the only way to go now.
And the Commonwealth Ombudsman's Office is well aware. I'm concerned that a number of small business people in Australia just aren't getting a fair go from Australia's largest corporate citizen.
The Royal Commission can get to the bottom of allegations that the company lied to the courts and Parliament over a series of customer complaints.
Faced with the allegations that Telstra misled Parliament and lied to the courts, the government had no option but to act.
I've therefore written to the Australian Communications Authority asking them to urgently investigate the matter.
The controversy centres on the long-running casualties of Telstra, or COT cases, which date back more than a decade. While Telstra eventually paid out millions of dollars to settle the cases, there are new allegations it covered up crucial information about the upgrade of a Brisbane telephone exchange in a bid to limit the damages.
These are very serious issues that require a full judicial inquiry.
The opposition and the Democrats are both demanding a royal commission. The timing for the government could not have been worse. Later this week, it's due to receive the Estons report into the standard of regional telecommunications services, a report it had hoped would clear the way for selling the remainder of Telstra.
Do you have any concerns at all that this might upset plans to privatise Telstra?
No, I don't believe it should or it will.
But that's not how the government's opponents see it.
It's another reason why Telstra shouldn't be sold.
I think the government's plan to sell off Telstra is dead and buried.
Laurie Wilson, National 9 News.
But first tonight, Australia's most profitable company versus a small business that's just gone out of business. Telstra, or Telecom as it used to be called, has had more than its share of embarrassment in recent years. It's found to have bugged customers who complained about faults, found to have misled a parliamentary inquiry. Now it's accused of sending one business broke because it couldn't provide a phone service that worked.
This was the realisation of a dream. Sussex Ridge Guest House overlooking the lush vineyards of the Hunter Valley. It's the fruit of 8 years' hard work, a labour of love that began when the couple sold their Sydney home and began building the house themselves.
All the timbers on the ceiling there, that come from the woolshed down at Carrington.
Nick did the building, Madeline the decorating.
Yeah, we've got together all the country feel and the homey feel, and that's what we want our guests to have.
But this will be one of the last breakfasts Mick and Madeline will cook for their guests. Today they're selling up, or to be more precise, the bank is.
It's here for outright sale. Once it's gone this time, it's gone for a long, long time. The B675. I'll go around again. $675,000 once.
It's just everything. We've put our heart and soul into it. So, we stand to lose it all.
The Richings don't blame their bank, but Australia's most profitable company, Telstra.
And they could have solved this problem, but they don't. They just string it out. And I think they were hoping we might just go away.
When Mick and Madeleine Richings first opened their doors for business 4.5 years ago, it was with the odds firmly stacked against them. They soon discovered that they had been omitted both from the white telephone directory and the yellow pages. Worse still, when potential visitors found their number elsewhere and tried to ring and make a booking, more often than not, they simply couldn't get through.
Hello, Sussex Ridge. We can't sell ourselves if we haven't got the phone. It's our lifeline.
Hello. It started with Telecom trying to charge $1,000 more than the agreed price of the Richings Commander phone system. That system didn't even work properly. Telecom had to replace it 6 times, but still there were problems.
Hello, Sussex Ridge. Hello, Sussex
When Mick or Madeline answered the phone, it would often be dead. A potential booking lost.
All they did was send technicians out who said they'd fix the problem. And the next day or the next hour or so, there it's back again.
Well, we would ring Madeline and we would get no answer, basically. It would ring out and you'd try again and it would ring out, and of course you can't keep people hanging around for too long.
Heather Wyburn was the booking agent at the Hunter Valley Tourist